Hi, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole. Today I am with Carman Joy, and we are going to do an interview. She's going to come out and say, we're going to speak about the Thomas Schoenberg, no, sorry, not Thomas Schoenberg, about the Sarah R. Adams allegations. I've got like Thomas Schoenberg on the brain.
I bet, I'm sure.
You know what? I realized that I do not see. There it is. Here we go. I'm having a little bit of a technical thing here going on. I'm trying to get my my mic to be recognized, and it's not recognized. Anyways, we'll figure this out in a second. But until then, we are going to play a song. Let's do this.
They lined us up in white rooms, names gone, numbers sewn in, steel in the rib cage, fire under the skin. You kissed my wrist goodbye. I learned to stand still at the edge of the morning. We were made to be killed, and they said, hold on, be the wall, be the blade. But I still hear my mother in the wires they lay. Super soldiers break my bones, super soldiers let me go. We were built to hold the line, now we want take the crown. If you made me from your fear, I will burn that fear down. Boots on the loading bay, rain on the concrete. We march through the sirens with the news in our teeth. One boy from Glasgow, one boy from the coast. We look like a war machine. We missed home the most, and they said, be the face on the screen. But my hands keep shaking for the light. Super soldiers break my bones.
You just move it,
Yeah.
and
We were built for the line. Now we want our own lives. Super soldiers, hear me now. Crown. If you made me from your fear, I will burn that fear.
I think it's good.
I'm just looking at the plants. What are they doing? Do they go up? Do they stand or something? Or
Yeah, I think it's
Your
it looks like
your
that much
obedient
stone.
stone.
Right.
Now I want a warm hand, the name of my own. Keep your medals, keep your gold. I'm not your machine, I'm a soul in a super soldiers break my bones. Super soldiers let me go. We were built to hold the line. Now we want our own lives. Super soldiers, hear me now. Super soldiers, take the crown. If you made me from your fear, I will burn that fear down. Super soldiers, one by one. Super soldiers, we are done. We were made in iron sleep. Now we wake up free.
All right. Welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. And with me is Carman Joy. And we're going to talk about, you're going to speak out now about Sarah R. Adams' allegations. For some reason, I can't get my microphone to work on my MacBook, but I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just going to ignore it. We're going to have to use the device here. Mac, you know, it usually works pretty good anyways.
All right.
So, Carman, you have had some really serious allegations against Sarah Adams for a really long time. And, you know, there has been some people on YouTube right now that have platformed Sarah R. Adams. And she has said some really awful things about you, about myself. Nobody's fact checked them. And this has been going on with her for you for how long? How long has she been accusing you of, well, I hate to say it, but of pedophilia? How long has that been going on for you?
That's 2014. So that's over a decade of this harassment. Yeah.
A decade.
A decade without any hard evidence whatsoever. It was done so very publicly, you know, on Facebook. And this was just after I had become engaged with James Casbolt. And so he came with a lot of fish hooks, as you know. And and it got serious with these just lies, you know. He wasn't helping things. You know, he was stirring the pot. He tended to do that. And I wasn't the only female that he was stirring the pot with, but I am the only one that got harassed this way.
So, for those of people who don't know, James Casbolt was known or coined as a super soldier, which would be a psychic soldier. And he came out on Carrie Cassidy's show. Also, he's on Miles Johnston. He was oftentimes paired with Max Spears, who was Sarah R. Adams' boyfriend. And he had a mysterious death. And so there's a lot of stuff surrounding this. And so how did you meet? How did you meet James Casbolt? How did this happen? How did the romance happen?
We met on Facebook, actually. Yeah.
And did he friend request you, or was it the other way around?
Exactly which way it went then, because I can't, you know, because he had several different Facebooks at that time. So I can't remember if he was under James Casbolt or if he went under Petrus Romanus, which I think that came later. So I'm not really clear.
How do you spell that, Petrus Romanus? Just out of curiosity.
I think he spelled it PetrusRomanus.
And how did he come up with that name?
Oh man. How did James Casbolt come up with all that shit? I think it's from a novel, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I think there's a trilogy of some sort.
Okay. All right. So you started this online romance through Facebook.
Right. Yeah. It's really connected because I was like personally, I was already in the rabbit hole, obviously. So I thought and believed that we were on a similar sort of mission in our lives. And that was human trafficking, to get the word out and try to fight that battle. So that was some of the common ground that we kind of connected on.
And when you say that you went down the rabbit hole, can you define that a little bit more?
Okay, well, when I was 17 years old, I had a terrible motorcycle accident. It was very serious, and I had multiple injuries, and I had a surgical team sent straight from God. My mother worked at a military college, so she had excellent insurance. So I had the best surgical team, the best care in the east part of the United States. And they said the only reason I survived that accident was my will to live was so strong. And plus I was 17 and I was in really good health, for something like that to happen. So I came off the back and hit a guardrail. And when I came off the back of the bike, I went out. And I went to a place I've always called the Sea of Tranquility. And I've heard it called that in some New Age circles. But I went there and came back, and survived the wreck. And it took me about 6 months, 5 months to recover fully. And then I went on to college. And while I was in college, I started having these dreams, these UFO dreams, that I had no context for. I really felt like a totally different person after I went to the Sea of Tranquility. I really did feel like something else. And because it was so intense and life-altering and beautiful. And I feel very blessed to have seen and witnessed what I did and have since then.
Can you describe what the Sea of Tranquility was like more? I mean,
for me, what I saw, I can describe what I saw.
Okay.
That's what anybody can do, right? So when I came off the back of the bike, I knew I was going to come off the back of that bike. Gravity is king. And he was going way too fast up a hill around a curve. And I knew when the bike started pegging out, and what that means is that the bike is leaning too far and the foot pegs are hitting the pavement. And so when we started pegging out and the sparks started flying, I knew it was over. And I held on as tightly as I could. I held on so tightly, in fact, that with my legs, that I was injured before I ever came off the bike, because it was one of those crotch rockets, which they're built for speed, totally for aerodynamics. And so there's a lot of plastic. And so 2 of those panels came up into each thigh and cut me deeply. So I went out before I even hit the pavement. I wasn't conscious for the impact. Thank God for that. And so when I went out, it was like I was immediately transported out into space. And I was traveling, and I knew that. And I was coming up on this huge, it looked like a galaxy, and it was golden. But then when I got closer, it looked more like an ocean of light, and it was golden. And when I got to it, I was just a part of it. I don't really think I had a body at that point. And when I got there, what it felt like, and I've always thought this, is, that feeling you get when you sit down in a warm bath. That your whole body just relaxes and you just go, like that. That's what this place is like constantly. It was a constant awe. And I wanted to stay. I didn't want to come back, but I had to come back. And so it was a glimpse, but it was life-changing.
How long? So what were the extent of your injury? Because first of all, let me ask you, how old were you when this happened?
I was 17.
And what was the extent of your injuries?
Okay, my right arm was cut off. They reattached it. I always say it's cut off. It was actually attached by a tendon, one frazzled nerve, injured nerve, and the main artery. and a little bit of muscle, and that's it. I sent you a picture of it. This drawing of it. So they reattached it. My pelvis was crushed into 9 pieces. My back was broken. My right knee, all the ligaments were destroyed. My knee was destroyed. My right leg was broken. It almost got both legs at the thigh, like I said before. Each of those cuts came within like a centimeter of the main artery, the main artery in your legs. And it broke my back, and I had internal injuries, and I had a serious concussion. But I did have my helmet on. Thank God for that.
How long were you unconscious before you woke up?
It couldn't have been 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe not even 2 minutes. Because he stayed with the bike, okay? See, I came off the back. We were going around a curve to the right. And I came off the back. And I flipped across about 3 lanes of traffic and got tangled up in the guardrail, hit the guardrail, which really saved my life because there's a cliff right there. Because this is up in the North Georgia mountains. So I was on a mountain called Crown Mountain. So it really did save my life. But he stayed with the bike and kind of ricocheted. It kind of slid out from underneath him. He was okay. He had a really badly bruised pelvis, but he was okay. And what I remember is when I came to, I was on the ground. And I used to be right-handed, and so I was going to reach over and take off my helmet so I could yell. And I tried to move my arm, and I couldn't move it. I thought, damn, I broke my arm, and I was pissed because I had told him not to speed with me on that bike, you know. So I'm sorry. It's hard for me to talk about it. It is intense, my story. So
was he a boyfriend, or was this a
first date?
What?
It was first date. We had not been hanging out, maybe.
First date. Wow, that's not a good first date. That's like a nightmare date. That's like, oh shit, I almost killed my date, right? I mean, I don't. That's not. Wow. Well, what happened to that relationship?
Well, yeah, it didn't last. I mean, you know, while it took, you know, it took me a minute because, you know, I did stress to him so ardently not to speed with me on that bike, not to show out with me on that bike. I was an experienced passenger. I was an experienced driver, but he wasn't. And I trusted him, and that was my choice, you know, and I have to live with that. And so I really should have gotten off of it, the bike, but I didn't. I chose to stay. And so it happened. And so he stayed, you know, he was there every day. I was in ICU. I was there for 2 weeks, and he was there every single day. And his parents came, they prayed over me, and it was very appreciated. But when I got into my private room and they took me off all morphine, and I woke up with not only a morphine habit, but what I woke up with, I couldn't give him what he needed. And what he was wanting was for me to tell him it was okay. And I couldn't do that yet. So I asked him to go get me a cup of coffee. And when he did, I told my mother to go out and tell him to leave and never come back. And eventually, I think he became a cop in Fulton County, Atlanta, a trooper, state trooper.
Did he drive a motorcycle? I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
Sorry, as my head went, is he driving a motorcycle? You know, okay.
Good question. That would be interesting to know. And honest to God, I do forgive now, you know. And I did try then. I really did, and thought I had for a minute, you know. But life is long, and the struggle was long, and the loss was great. Man, I mean, because I was a musician, you know, I started playing music when I was 7 years old. And the loss of my ability to play the piano was my biggest loss of my life, besides my daughter and my dad. Yeah, and my mom.
Oh, so you lost the ability to play the piano.
Yeah, like I used to.
Okay.
I got about 10% use back in the arm. We did do some reconstructive surgery and some nerve grafting and things like that. But this was 1988. Okay. So it was just beginning, their successes. I was shocked I kept my arm. I mean, that was tremendous back then. And, it was always questionable whether or not I was going to walk or keep my arm. That was a process. It wasn't like, I wasn't fixed. And I think I used to have a misconception about accidents. Like you go to the emergency room, they stitch you up that night. No, it was a process of days of surgery and hours of recovery, and it was interesting. It was an interesting experience, and I wouldn't trade it. But back to the point we were talking about was, how did I know I was out? How long I was out was because when the back crash happened and the bike came out from under him, when he got up, he was running, and I could hear him running. By that time, I had woken up, and like I said, tried to remove my helmet, couldn't do it. And so I reached over with my left hand and undid my helmet. And I just thought I tossed it right beside me. And they found that helmet across 3 lanes of traffic in the ditch across. Because my adrenaline was so crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
So you were like a gifted young woman. You had musical abilities, and you were a homecoming queen. Like you did pageants. You had this whole thing going for you. And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, that was a huge loss, man. That wreck. But see, that wasn't my first battle with something major happening. My first battle was with my dad's suicide when I was 7. So I knew what big loss was, and I knew it was going to take, heroic effort really to reconcile this and get through it to this very day. So, but it's not easy, right? So,
when did your father unaliven himself?
I was 7. That would have been 1977.
Oh, that's a really memorable year for me, because I had I have scoliosis, so I have 12 vertebrae fused in a metal rod in my back. And so that's the year that I had that surgery. So 1977 always stands out to me. I was like 15 at the time. So both of us have, I think your case is worse than mine, but both of us have kind of like had teenage incapacity, health issues, physical things going on, which is kind of interesting. So I want to get back to, you mentioned you were on, what was it? Morphine, and of course, like painkillers and stuff like this, stuff like that. Did this cause an addiction for you?
Oh, honey. And I really wish, they would have come to me and told me, but like I said, it was 1988, right? And so it wasn't really in the literature like that yet, And so when the nurse came that day and asked my mom what was wrong with me, my mother was like, "Will you tell me?" Has she not had her shot today? And that was it. Nobody ever came to me and said, "Okay, now you got a real problem. This is serious." So it came back to bite me years later. Yeah, years later.
I wanted to, because a lot of the criticism that people have made about you online publicly is about your addiction, and to my understanding, you ended up using heroin later on in life.
I did.
How did that come about for you?
When I got about 32, I started having some real chronic pain. Now, I drank for many years when I was a teenager and into my 20s, late 20s. And when I stopped, I found myself in a world of hurt physically. So I went to the doctor, and he put me on Loratab, and then he sent me to a pain clinic where they put me on OxyContin, eventually Percocet. It was insane, girl. And I ended up.
These things were first prescribed to you by doctors.
Yes.
And were these and your pain, was it residual of the accident?
It was residual of the accident. I think a lot of it was also psychological in a lot of ways. I mean, let's face it, I haven't had the easiest go.
No, I know. I've watched you on Facebook and things that have happened to you. So I know that you have really gone through a lot of struggles in your life, and you've been very open and you've shared that with people.
And so I did. I had to go through the addiction battle. And I mean, my dad was an alcoholic, and I did pick back up alcohol after a minute, after all the harassment the last 10 years. Now I'm gonna just say right now, I may start crying.
That's okay.
And I may have to go off camera for a second. If I do, don't worry, okay. I'm okay. I've had a long time to adapt to my life and my situation. But
just know that you have a lot of people here that are supporting you. We've got Willow Williams is here. Willow. Right. And then Seren, who is a moderator of mine. She's here. I'm glad you're here, Seren. I was hoping you were going to show up. And so they're definitely in. Willow says, "Here, I'm here for you, Carman." And Seren says, "Hi, Willow Williams," or she's addressing Willow, but Willow Williams is saying she manipulated Carman's ex-husband and tilted his head with and filled his head with lies like she does. And then they all grouped up to attack Carman, and she didn't have a leg to stand on, and they led her to her daughter's dad. So yeah, that's one of the things that's being said right now. So yeah, I realize that this is not an easy thing to talk about, and the things that Sarah has been doing to people. You're not the only one. I'm not the only one. She has attacked, obviously YouTube hosts that have investigated her and done commentary on her practices in this community. And she has retaliated. Just so the audience knows some stuff that Sarah Rachel Adams has been doing. In retaliation, she calls people's CPS on people's children and the police department. She has been vocal about doing this on several different shows. She has posted this on social media, on Meta, about how she's going to call CPS on Stephen Cambion, who is the host of Truth Seekers. She has done that. She has done that over the Mother's Day weekend to him. And calling, falsely reporting people. And we also know a few other people. I'm not mentioning everybody here, but she has made false reports on people and accused, calling CPS on them out of retaliation, for first of all, for a host just criticizing her. But let me ask, in your situation, why do you think that Sarah did this to you? Like, break it down. What happened? You were in a relationship with James Caswell. He's in like the UFO conspiracy. I hate to say the word conspiracy, but there's an aspect of this that's conspiracy, right? And but the super soldier, psychic kind of warrior aspect of things. And you met him on Facebook. He's a very attractive guy, actually. I think and he was very charismatic. Right. He was really well known, so he had this kind of status. Mm-hmm. And I've been in a relationship with somebody who also claims to have psychic abilities, and I believe that he does. And was associated with this group and ex-CIA contractor and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, he's so knowledgeable, he's so smart, he knows things that I'm interested in. And so I put him on this sort of like pedestal in a way, looking up to him. Was that, I don't know if that was the same for you, but was this something that happened to you as well?
Sure. I was had similar experience as a lot of females at that time, perhaps still do, yeah, that was a big part of it. But now, he was just coming out of his divorce or separation from his son and his wife, coming out from that experience here in America, being booted back into the UK, and he was going through a lot of different stuff at the time, according to him, and so he was lashing out, and he was really I just thought he was being very naughty, you know what I mean, and just trying to trigger people and trying to get her attention. I think was really what it was all about, somewhat. That's what kind of was playing out for me, until he started like he was doing stuff like sending just disgusting pornography to females, and just to get the reactions, and then he would like put that up on his Facebook to get reactions to it, things like that. And so when he started doing all that shit,
when Facebook wasn't quite as like, on that stuff, right? You can get away with it. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, I just felt like he was doing it more just to be shocking, to get attention, to draw attention to the other things he was trying to get across. Okay.
And some of this, because he went to prison for revenge porn for his ex. Was this some of his ex on Facebook?
Yes, he posted. I think I saw one of her topless, just awful. And so, it caused trouble between he and I, and I started, confronting him about it, especially when, he started making comments about my daughter. Yeah.
And what kind of comments was he making about your daughter?
Well, it would be like he would be like, it would just be like sexual innuendo. I can't even remember directly what he would say. Okay, for instance, this is how, if you really want to know how this haul started, okay?
Yeah, take us there.
This is for instance. So one of the other commonalities that I thought he and I were sharing about was that we were both were kind of separate. I wasn't at that time unjustly separated from Sophia, but I was separated from her at the time. I was very ill in a methadone detox. And so she was having to stay with my mom and his mom, my ex-husband's mom, while I was recovering, because he was working all the time and he was never around. And it's a whole nother story. So we were sharing, and I was just like sharing about being a mom. And I was like, one thing that Sophia was doing at night to go to bed at night was she would get her little stuffed animal and like act humping it. You know what I mean? Like to self-soothe. See, I didn't know that's what she was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I would notice she would get her little stuffed animal and she would start humping it to relax and go to sleep. But I didn't really understand that's what was going on. And my mother, she was very ill, so I couldn't really ask her, and I was so ill, and so I asked him about it, if his son had done anything like that. And so he twists that all up, and he messages another girl. Okay.
Who twisted it up? James? Okay.
Yes. When I asked him this innocent question about child raising,
mm-hmm.
about her doing this at night, I didn't know what it was. And I was curious, did your baby do this? That was it. That was as simple as that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, he twists this around. He messages a girl. I don't even remember who. There were so many. There were so many.
So was he out there being kind of like a predator on all these different women on the internet?
Yes.
Okay.
So he had, messaged another girl saying, trying to get them to think that me and him were going to be sexual with my daughter, right?
So he went out and said these things to other people about you.
Yes, females.
Okay.
To make them think that I was this horrific pedophile and that I was trying to get my daughter and take her away over to the UK with me so he can molest her and rape her.
James is saying this.
He's alluding to he's not saying it explicitly. I mean, but he's going like, he sent a female, this email was like, Carman gives Sophia a different teddy every night to hump before she goes to sleep. Okay.
Why do you think he would do something like that?
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's James Casbolt, right? Mr. MI6, right? Mr. MI6. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. So it was a very confusing time. And he was doing a lot of crazy things. And a lot of females were trying to understand it, I think. Many. And Sarah contacts me, one of the females that contacted me.
Have you sent this to Sarah?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I can't even remember. So I don't know. I think he posted it publicly.
He posted it publicly.
Yeah. He was doing something. He was doing shit like that a lot. So trying to understand it, but when that happened, so she contacts me and then, and I was like, what the fuck? And then she said something else in her when she realized that I wasn't immediately going to turn him away and break off my engagement with him and unfriend him and do exactly what she wanted, because basically she was trying to tell me that, trying to control me basically. Like, I don't know. It pissed me off because she was trying to say that she was trying to link me to that shit, pedophilia publicly. Okay. And it was pissing me off. Because
why do you think she was doing that? I mean, to my understanding, Sarah had something. Was she part of the trial that put James Casbolt in doing prison time? Because I feel like, I watched that one interview, like one of the last interviews that Miles Johnston does of James Casbolt, and he mentioned something about Sarah, or I don't want to talk about Sarah, or somehow Sarah's name comes up in the mix of that.
Yeah.
That
mix, isn't she? What is that? Yeah. Well, anyways, she contacted me about it, and when I didn't have the reaction that she wanted
you to leave James Casbolt over that.
I don't know. I can't even remember what it was worded in the email. She can probably, or the message, she'll probably trot it out at some point. But it just seemed to me like, it happened because I did not immediately shut him down, and cut off all contact, turn against him,
Why didn't you immediately shut him down?
Right. Well, I did.
Okay.
I did. But, I wasn't public about all that, right? I unfriended him. I broke off the engagement. I didn't block him, but I did those two things. And then he started explaining to me, and what he explained to me was that he was undercover and what he was trying to do for MI6. And he was doing all this research into pedophile rings, child pedophile rings. And one of parts of his research was about how easy it was to get 2 children through women. And I bought it.
But do you believe him now?
I don't know. I still don't know.
I have found, I mean, from my personal experience of certain organizations that do this, there was, well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Revolution Radio was really into that. Nighthawk was into apparently tracking down pedophiles and this and that. And it ended up that the webmaster of Revolution Radio, the site, was arrested for CP. And he's probably still in prison, but there was a lot of speculation within that. And then I had become privy of some not emails, but websites that were like kind of attached to this Revolution Radio, and certain known UFO things that had these suspicious domains connected to it. There was a man that contacted me. His name was Ben Duchesne's. And at one point I was showing these things, and I really got attacked really big time for it by the other, UFO. Right. And, it was, like almost like I would say nearly as bad as it is now in terms of the harassment that's happening online. And so that was a while ago that happened. And so I feel that sometimes, and I've watched this in other predator catcher communities online, there's a lot of drama going on, predators being catched, finger pointing, this and that. And there is kind of like there's a fine line of those kind of groups actually being guilty of it. Yeah. In a sense.
Oh, it gets tricky and thick in those tunnels, baby. It is not a place that I want to be ever.
And this is kind of a running theme within this media, because when we were on Revolution Radio, or I was on American Freedom Radio, we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein before the general public really knew, even before the election of Trump and Hillary Clinton. When that was going on, we were already talking about those things. That's when having those kind of conversations wasn't as popular as it is now, because now, of course, he didn't really kill himself, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and the FBI is not showing the evidence, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's really escalated in this other area, but at that time, it wasn't really openly discussed, and some of those discussions were happening on these channels that were in what we call the alternative media, or we were on YouTube, or we were on these radio stations that were online discussing these things. And that's why we called ourselves the Truth Media, right? Right. There was like a hybrid, I would say, the UFO stuff was also within that, and also comes into the paradigm of the underground tunnels and aliens and lizards, people, and all that kind of stuff. The folklore of that. I'm not saying it's all folklore. I mean, but still, I've never seen a person shapeshift yet. Apparently, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins claims that he saw somebody shapeshift, which I heard might be actually Courtney Love, but I digress.
Believe it. That's
okay. So you had this conversation. James Casbolt exploited it. You ended up like not being with them. Sarah came in and got involved in this. And then what else did Sarah do?
Well, it wasn't just Sarah. See, it was Sarah and
who else?
2 other people, a few other females. And I'm, considering the fact it's been so long now, and I haven't had a problem out of any of those other females. I mean, I don't even know if it's her real name, but like one girl her name's Amelia Giannotti. a girl named Carolyn. Now this Carolyn person is a female that he was or a girlfriend of his he had at the time in the UK. Okay. He was trying to stay with her. And so, so, you know, it got really crazy for me there for a minute with all the females, frankly, surrounding him and coming at me, you know, like with that one, like he would be over at her house and she would get in his Facebook and get in his messenger and impersonate him with me. And so she joined in on the gang. Who else? A girl named Kristen Connolly. She was also in contact with my ex-husband. Sarah contacted my local.
Why were they in contact with you? Why were they in contact with your ex-husband?
Okay, so
was Sarah in contact with you? But more importantly, I'm not as concerned about these other people as much as I am about exactly what Sarah did. So Sarah came to you. She asked you this question about James Casbolt. Did she contact your ex-husband? Did she contact CPS?
She contacted CPS. I don't know if she contacted CPS. There's a thing called DFACS in Georgia. So it was DFACS. I heard that she did this. I heard that she contacted DFACS, my local police station, and I know for a fact she was in touch with my ex-husband. Okay.
And what was the feedback of what she was saying that you were guilty of?
Well, she was telling my ex that I was engaged to marry a pedophile in the UK, and I was trying to get my daughter and take her over there.
And were you engaged with him at that time?
We were engaged to be married. Yes, we got engaged. Yeah.
But then had that conversation of the stuffed toy thing already happened?
Yeah. I mean, that happened early on. You know, that was like during the times we were getting to know each other.
So that happened early on, but you kind of forgave him for doing that.
Oh, no. I mean, that conversation between he and I happened early on, but he didn't pull it out and you try to use it like to,
when did he use that and steer you online? When did he accuse that of you online?
I don't see that siren.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm trying to remember, okay, because it's been like
after you broke up with him that he did that.
No, I mean he did that, and then we broke off, and then he got to me and told me what he was doing.
Oh, okay. So he did this and then said, "Oh, I'm MI6, and I'm doing an undercover thing, and that's why I was doing it. Please forgive me," kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
And then you believed it.
Yes.
Okay. And then you remained being engaged to him.
I did.
Or you got engaged to him. Were you engaged with him before that?
We were engaged.
Were you engaged when he went and accused you?
Yes.
Okay. So when he accused you, you said, "Hey, I'm going to break up with him." And then he came back and went, "Oh, I'm MI6. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this because I'm MI6. I really love you, blah, blah, blah. Come to the UK." And then Sarah went and she told these other...
Now, I want to make something else here. We never, ever, once, ever discussed me taking my daughter to the UK. I only ever talked about her visiting me there if I ever moved over there. Okay. I didn't know yet because at the time all this happened, she wasn't even with me. Okay, she was with my mom and his mom. Now, when my ex abandoned me and went home to his mother, then he was with my daughter. He went home with his mom, and that our daughter was there, and he was there with that. They've been together there in that unit since then. I was cold man out. They accused me of this. Called my local police, accusing me. But all of this without any hard evidence. I mean, they started accusing me of this online, and I don't remember exactly like what post it was that said, "You're a pedophile." But it was just being shown like that. He was doing things like that to make it look like that. And I was having to combat it, and be like, what the fuck is going on? Right. And so serious. And then after they contacted my ex-husband did not call me on the phone and ask me about what was going on. We were headed for divorce. We knew we were getting divorced. We did not discuss custody of my daughter at all. Nothing. And he snuck it in my divorce decree and took her from me that way, very underhandedly, very covertly.
Okay, like, did he snuck in these allegations in the divorce decree?
Custody of her and monitored custody, and I don't even remember what he labeled the cause was, but I am going to get my divorce decree. I have it coming.
So, do you know if he used this, like, Sarah's information in
Yeah, I mean, I know that's why he took custody away from me like that.
By her allegations of saying that you were going to bring the daughter over to the UK with this pedophile, James Caspel.
Oh,
Why was she calling James Caspel a pedophile in the first place?
Well, I mean, because he was doing stuff like that, like I told you. He was baiting females.
No, I didn't.
He was.
Yeah.
And it was shocking.
Did you find out that he was, like, talking to other women while you thought you were engaged with him?
Oh, I knew he was. I knew he was talking, like, tons of females, like, online. You know, they'd be on the post talking back and forth. I mean, yeah, he was doing a lot of that.
When did you find out that that's what he was doing?
He wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to hide it. It's like, you know, it wasn't like he was trying to hide it. But I was, you know, I was under that spell of believing.
Okay, so let's cut to, like, I kind of want to just, because I feel like maybe, like, the listeners will, like, want to know right now. Let's just cut to the chase.
Okay.
Were you ever convicted of pedophilia?
Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, this is what I wanted to get to. You know, after all of that happened, you have to understand, I lost my mother and my daughter and James all in a span of 6 months. I ended up homeless. And so I ended up in jail a few times for disorderly conduct and criminal trespassing. I had no support system underneath me. And everybody turned on me after all that went down. And so it was a very horrible time. And I was in and out of homeless shelters, hospitals, several hospitals, and I almost didn't make it several times. Almost didn't make it.
When you say that you didn't make it, what would have been the cause of that?
I mean, I was in and out of this process of homelessness for like 3 years. So in that process, you get very sick. I mean, and my first bout was with sepsis. I almost died. And then I had pneumonia 2 times after that. Now, the last one was an accidental overdose. That was 2017. So tremendously huge shitstorms were hitting me. And I had no support system. And so I don't even remember what the question was now.
Oh, okay. So I asked you if you had ever, because I looked at your police records, and you know, we've done a search. You're not a registered,
the point I was trying to make.
You're not a registered sex offender.
Registered sex offender. And I was in jail. And what I was going to say was I was in jail several times, in and out, you know, for that period.
I mean, you have, like, things on your record.
I was never questioned one time by a detective in that jail. My ex-husband hired a private detective to investigate me. They investigated me thoroughly. Not one shred of fucking evidence, okay? And I knew that. I mean, if I knew anything, Tara, I knew that.
So you're saying there was no shred of evidence about being a child pedophile. or having anything like doing
No,
anything
I'm
to
talking
your
about hard
daughter or anything with.
I'm talking about
no
hard
proof of
evidence
that.
things that stand up in court, or like medical reports, police eyewitness testimony, porn on your phone, on your computer, child porn. Nothing like that was found for me. And James Casbolt as well. They did investigate him at some point. I mean, he had a lot of crazy porn on his computers and phones when they confiscated that when he got arrested, but they didn't find any child porn. So, you know, that's that. I mean, that's the fact, right?
So the main thing here, I mean, like, I mean, we could go in and we can talk about, like, because what I saw on your record was, you know, you were on probation, but that was because of when you were homeless and there was a breaking and entering situation to find shelter.
No breaking and entering.
No, I'm sorry, trespassed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got it wrong. Thank you for correcting me. So you trespassed, you got a trespass thing, you know, you had some probation about surviving on the streets.
Yeah.
You don't have any drug convictions, even though you have had drug addiction problems in your life. You know, but you've got no pedophilia convictions at all. I looked, we've looked, and you're not a registered sex offender. And yet Sarah is still today going on people's shows and smearing your name as being a pedophile. She's also, by the way, I want to mention this. She has used it. Well, I think she's used this, but she has included Stephen Cambion in that because you were Facebook friends, saying that you were besties. How well do you know Stephen Cambion, by the way?
That's what is so shocking to me, because I do not know that person. We are Facebook friends, but we've never had a back and forth exchange. Never. He's never said hello to me in my, all I did was thank him one time after seeing his show on Sarah. And I just wanted him to know, I just wanted to thank him. And so I sent him a couple messages like that. And that is it. He never responded. Nada.
And have you ever, have you been in his chat before during his streams, or, have you watched the show?
I've watched the show. I've watched a couple of them. Yeah.
Why do you think she's trying to do that? Like she's trying to go, oh, you're Blake. Look at Steven. He's hanging out with.
Well, I'll tell you.
She said this to me already before we even did the show. She's like, Terry's interviewing a pedophile and blah blah blah, and she's already smeared me.
I think what she's trying to do is she is trying to. Okay. Oh, this person's not mentally well, in my opinion, nor spiritually sound enough to be out here giving spiritual advice. But what I want to say is these claims and accusations she does about people are so easily disproven. That's what's shocking to me, number one. Number two, I think she is doing this for attention, to make money. Personally, I feel that Sarah Rachel Adams is a grifter. I think she's a fraud, and I've always said that and felt that, and I stood up to her. She did not like that, and she does not like anybody who does that. If you try to stand up to her and you do not take her shit, she will come after you like this, and she will make up lies about you, and she will try her best to interfere in your life and cause you some real damage, just like she did to me. And it was costly for me. I have to now listen. I'm not Sarah's victim. I'll have to say that. I made a decision, to stand by him, and I lost my daughter because of it, and I have to live with that. But before people get out here and start accusing people of serious crimes like pedophilia, you need to have hard evidence on hand at the time you make these accusations, showing that shit. There is laws, and there's a reason it's important. It's because people get destroyed. Lives get destroyed. Children lose parents. Parents lose children. And that is a wound, my dear, that will never heal. I'll never get it back. I'll never get the years back. Yeah.
I mean, do you feel that Sarah is a big component in you losing your daughter?
I do. I do feel that she meddled in my life, and without any hard evidence. And, you know, my ex-husband didn't really want to divorce, and he was jealous. You know, he did not want me to move on, especially with someone like James Casbolt, you know. And I want to state this for the record as well. I never faulted Sarah for, or anybody for contacting me to let me know what was going on. I never have said to them, you know, you're a bitch for telling me that. I mean, I took it seriously, and I did what I had to do to, you know, get through it and make sure that I was doing the right thing. And I've never faulted anybody for investigating, for checking. That's what we have to do. Okay.
Right.
And so she didn't do that. She didn't do that.
No, and neither have some of the hosts that have platformed Sarah's, you know, allegations against you. And because what I think is that I'm the target right now for Sarah, because I've done some shows investigating into things about her, mainly the Harvey incident, as well as Stephen Cambion. And I think that those things have, you know, the mushroom ritual that went bad and all that kind of stuff. I think those things have that, you know, it's her fault that she did this, right? I mean, she's not taking any responsibility for what happened in that situation.
Right.
But to accuse people like myself who are saying to the community, here's somebody who's presenting themselves as this divine healer, this intuitive psychic, you know, somebody that's going to, you know, is going to be able to do all these readings and do this mushroom ritual. And I listened to the police recordings again. I replayed them like a couple of days ago and did some more commentary because, you know, Sarah's saying that she suffered brain damage and had a heart attack. And I went through them again. There was no heart attack, no brain damage that happened. You know, she said that on she said it on Titus Frost's show. She said it on Coley Weber's show. She's like, you know, making these things up. And I go, no, this is not what happened here. And, you know, even Amanda Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter-in-law, is saying that part of what they were doing is because she had liver issues and they were using the psilocybin as a remedy for it. And, you know, Sarah went and got, you know, they used a synthetic form of it. And, you know, and she was really like, she was out faster than you know, Sarah was. And that makes sense to me because, you know, your liver processes things, right? It's like it's getting rid of all the toxins
right
in your body. So she has a liver problem. She wasn't processing that probably correctly. And Sarah just wants to act like she's the major victim in all of this. And it's astounding to me to see her go on these shows and say, oh, you're cyberbullying me for reporting on this. You're ruining me. And then she's throwing all this pedo smearing and going, oh, you're associated to this. Terry supports this. She's called me a pedophile. She's accused me of having CP on my phone.
No, I know.
I'm just completely like shocked about what, like, she doesn't care about calling any, like, smearing people like this. And I have pulled up, you know, a few shows that I want to play. I want to play clips of these shows doing this to you.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take like a really quick break here and play a song, and and we will be right back with showing some clips of some of these people online, you know, smearing Carman Joy's name on behalf of Sarah R. Adams.
Yep.
What happened here?
Barcode on the cradle, cereal on the skin. dreams switched off again. Mother made of metal, father's just a file. They print another heartbeat, tested for a smile. We are factory angels, chrome in our veins, programmed to be fearless, terrified of pain. Lift your hands, my brothers, wired to obey. Super soldier lullaby, singing us away. Marching in white corridors, floor cold as their eyes. They call it greater service, we call it stay alive. They measure every heartbeat, they harvest every tear. Upgrade after upgrade, they override the fear. We are factory angels, chrome in our veins, programmed to be fearless, terrified of pain. Lift your hands, my brothers, wired to obey. Super soldier lullaby, singing us away. If I break rank, will the world end? If I miss my mark, do I start again? Is there any self under all this steel? If they flip that switch, do I still feel? Do I still feel? We are factory angels, falling in chains. Heroes on the posters, numbers on the frames. Lift your hands, my brothers, let them see us shake. Super soldier lullaby, starting to awake.
All right, you're back. Okay, because I saw you step away for a moment, and all right, so we're gonna do a screen share here. This is Titus Frost's show that he did. Let me get us both in the shot here. There's sorry, I got my own face there. Maybe I should have swapped that one out. I'm going to do a screen share here. This is a show titled The Cyberbullying of David Wilcock and Isaac Cappy interview with Brian Sang and Sarah R. Adams. Brian Sang is I call him the flying monkey for Sarah right now. He has a show called Disclosure Now. They're accusing Stephen Cambion and myself of cyberbullying David Wilcock to unaliven himself, as well as Isaac Cappy. And just for the record, I never knew either men at all, and I had very little material on Not My Rabbit Hole show about them, and they were never aware of me, and yet somehow they have concocted the fact that I'm guilty of this, and I've been also labeled as a Zionist and a satanic pedophile. And one of the arguments that they've made is that because of the fact that we know you, and and we and obviously we're connected on Facebook together, that I am aiding and abetting you, who's also, I'm a pedophile protector, is the rumor that is happening here. And so right here, they get into you in this conversation, and I have their youth banner. We're just educating the public. And I'm going to go ahead and play this here.
Okay. PDF file thing, right? We have Carman Joy, and Carman Joy is not her real name, by the way. Carman Joy, back in the day, she sent, and I sent you some of those. Just that.
And here's what gets me is that they had the audacity to take your picture, and which says Terry Joyce is with Carman Joy, right? And I say Carman Joy, and this is me advertising this show, basically, or saying that you're going to come on there. So this is what it reads: Carman Joy goes public with what Sarah R. Adams did to her. So this is the clip, and then of course they've got a picture. Your hair looks lovely, by the way. And you're smoking a cigarette, so oh my goodness, you're a smoker. And then it says, I want it stated for the record that I do not stalk, harass, or bully Sarah Rachel Adams online or elsewhere. So this is you defending yourself against Sarah, and Titus Frost takes this pose as some sort of receipt of incriminating us. So let's continue.
Thinking about it, it's terrible. Carman tried to give her child, her little girl, to a self-proclaimed pedophile. She was bringing that child to him, and this guy was really
okay. And so here's another screenshot. This is Christine Connolly. You mentioned her earlier, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And so this says, thank you for accepting. I was FB friends with James Casbolt. However, I have information I would like to file with yours. I'm shaking right now. Let me see. I'm shaking right now. The man is very sick, and thank God you and your BF got a person I'm not going to mention right now, and the baby away, but it's his ex. He's admitted to me on the phone he's molested his daughter. Now, let me ask you this: is that James Casbolt? Does James Casbolt have a daughter?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So she's saying that he admitted to me on the phone he's molested his daughter. I want you to please help me find out who is shoot. I want you to help me find out who she is. Fiancés on husbands, so I can inform him of that. BITCH Carman sending him a pedophile pic of her own daughter. He says she's going to be bringing her over for him. I'm sick to my stomach. How can so this looks like it's like being sent to Sarah.
Yeah. This is what they're doing. They were sending messages back and forth between each other. There was about 5 or 6, maybe 7 people, maybe 8. I think 8 actually. And just really trying to pin it down on both of us that we were pedophiles. I mean, I can't speak to what James said to anybody else about his own daughter. All I can say is he never said anything, untowards about her to me or any other children. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
basically this is a third-party information, a third-party conversation being sent to Sarah, and we're supposed to believe that this is a fact.
Yes.
Right. Sarah's using a third-party information, giving it to Titus Frost, and he's using it as a receipt. Let me just point that out, okay? Titus Frost is using some sort of like email from a woman that I don't know. Nobody really knows this person.
I hardly even knew
And
myself.
it's supposed to be like Titus, it would have been better if you ran the police record on Carman Joy and showed that she was, guilty or convicted.
Yes, let's do that.
Right?
Oh, yes, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. So, but here we go.
Really messed up. He sent me the messages boasting about it. I forwarded the messages, me and Max did, because that's when Max was alive. We forwarded the messages to the police, to the father. That day he got.
Okay, so they forward the messages to the father. Is that correct, Carmen?
And to the police.
And to the police. And what did the police do?
Nothing.
They didn't do it. Did they come and talk to you or?
Once. And I was in that jail between 2014 and 2017. I was in and out of that jail fully about 10 times on probation violation, disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, all these charges that I got when I was homeless for those years after all the harassment and everything that went down. And not one detective while I was in their custody, and I was in there for more than a couple of days at each time, ever questioned me. Ever. DFACS never entered it.
So you were never, because, really, honestly, the whole time your daughter wasn't even in your custody.
Nope.
Right. How long had your daughter not been in your custody?
Oh, gosh. I guess it was about, I guess we were going on about 3 or 4 months. I had to end up moving back home with my own mom because I was so sick.
But like when you were talking to James Casbolt, your daughter, was she in your custody or not in your custody?
She was staying mostly like during the week. She would stay with him, at his mom's.
And
then on the weekends she would come be with me.
Okay, so you had her you were like a part-time, like you had her for the weekend, like visitation rights.
Yeah. But we hadn't got divorced. We hadn't yet done anything legal yet, And
has your daughter ever come forward and said, this happened to me or anybody molested me or anything like that? No?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. So let's continue.
Yeah.
That little girl, she lost custody. This woman, she's a drug addict, Carmen. She's one of Terry Joyce's best friends, literally best friends.
Okay, did you realize we were best friends, Carmen?
Terry, man, I'm glad to have you. I'd be your best friend any day.
I mean, we've gotten to know each other from this, really. But Sarah paints it as like we're best friends, and I'm hanging out with a pedophile. Like she's smearing me.
Let me tell you what she's doing. I think she's doing. This is what I think she's doing. I'm just going to like I think it. I think what she's trying to do is she's grifting, and she's trying to set it up like everybody's trying to get her to commit suicide, like what happened with David Wilcock. And she's trying to start this whole drama in the community to get attention, to get more fame, to get more and more. That's what I think.
Right.
I think it's that simple. And she doesn't care who she destroys to get it.
How did I get unplugged here? I got this new webcam and it's just like it's piece of shit, really. I touched something and it's like, Okay. Let me see if my mic. I was able to get my mic going. Okay, yeah, we're cool.
And I want to continue with some of the things I was saying earlier about.
Yeah.
I told with my ex, I was like, I never begrudged him the investigation on me. I never begrudged anyone that. I never said to anyone, how dare you, I mean, I understood that they had to do that, okay? And I want that stated for the record. And but when it was found finally, that this was not happening, it didn't stop, there was a full 2 years, maybe 3 years had gone by. And once again, Sarah had started up all the bullshit drama again. pulling me into private, like groups, trying to get me in there, and then ambushing me. Like several of my gang stalkers would be in there and just ambushing me with their so-called evidence, right? Anyway, it was pathetic, and I showed every time they would pull me in these rooms, I would show that they had nothing on me. And it just, it's an obsession. It just seems like she's very narcissistic, it seems to me. And it's dangerous in my view. And she caused me real world damage. Losing my daughter was probably the greatest loss of my life. And it will never be healed. I don't fully I've never ever, fully blamed everything on Sarah Adams. I'm saying that she had a part in that event that happened, and it was totally uncalled for. She knew James Casbolt was not a pedophile. I think she knew him, she spent time with him. So, I mean, to me, it was just a matter of control. When if she feels like she can't control people, it seems like she really does become a very manipulative and nasty sort. And I just have to I just want to give my testimony out there about this part, just for my daughter, really. I don't care about anything else but her and what she is going to learn about all of this. That's it.
Well, I can understand that. I think a lot of the people that are in the audience can understand that too as well.
I will go ahead further and take responsibility for the fact that I was irresponsible in sharing pictures of my daughter online and privately with people so freely. I should not have done that. That was naive of me to do that. But it was never sharing in a sexual manner, the way that Sarah fucking Adams, excuse me, I'm sorry, has been trying to portray me ever.
Well, I've seen you share pictures of you and your daughter on Facebook and stuff like this, and she's grown up now and everything. I mean, it would stand to reason that if you were, in a relationship with somebody, whether it was online or, you're going to go, you were engaged to him. How, by curiosity, how long did he court you before he asked you to marry him?
Oh man, it was about a week.
A week? I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
It was.
It happens. I mean, he was a dirty guy.
It was insane. It was insane. Yeah. And I have to say, I was in a very vulnerable place at that time in my life. I certainly wasn't completely, I don't think I was completely in my right mind. I had gone through a methadone detox. It was very trying. And I believe my mother was murdered. So I'd gone through that ordeal and had, it got serious. And
so you were emotionally vulnerable at that time.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So let's continue with Miss Sarah Adams here saying her shit.
Steve Cambion's circle. So one of Taj's best friends, literally.
So let's go back again. Messed up. So she's gonna go in like we're all associated. Apparently, Taj and Stephen Cambion are best friends too, right? Okay, so let's continue. Wait, all right.
Sent me the messages, boasting about it. I forwarded the messages. Me and Max did, because that's when Max was alive. We forwarded the messages to the police, to the father. That day he took that little girl. She lost custody. This woman, she's a drug addict, Carman. She's one of Terry Joyce's best friends, literally best friends. One of Steve Cambion's circle. So one of Taj's best friends, literally. This is the sort of people that are in this circle.
Okay, so you
got to stop right there. I got to say something right now. Okay, Taj and I. No. Taj was hers. That's her business manager. And I really didn't want to have to say anything negative about Taj. And I really don't want to now, frankly. But I will just this, that he was her buddy. He was not my cheerleader.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I get that.
And he and I are only just now, after him going through this ordeal with her, friendly.
Yes, that was with me too, because Taj and I had a falling out over Sarah, basically. I mean, like when I started having my conflict with Sarah, he sided with Sarah, kind of like what Brian Singh is doing right now. And I hadn't spoken to Tash for almost like 6 years, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And then it wasn't until this happened, when Sarah came out and the whole thing happened, and all these accusations with me and Tash and stuff like that. Well, I'll tell you what, it wasn't until David Schurter said on his show that I was blackmailing and extorting Sarah Adams with Tash. And I was like, what? And we weren't even speaking to each other then. And then that's when I knew that, I go, well, this obviously has to be Sarah. And so I go, what? Did Sarah R. Adams contacted you? And then then David Schurter's like, yeah, Terry Joyce. Yeah. How did you know? You knew exactly who I was talking about. I'm like, yeah, of course. She mentioned Tash. Who else is going to? It was so out of left field in the world that was harassing me that I knew it had to be Sarah.
Yeah. Right? She gets into people's, she infiltrates people's friends lists. Like when she started harassing me, I'm sure she was in my friends list, but she was contacting my friends in my friends list, slandering
so she was
me.
Contacting people to smear you in your friends list.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really don't know how many I lost that way. I'm sure I lost a few, but I just figured good riddance. If anybody's going to believe that shit about me, I don't need them for friends anyways,
Right. But still, that's malicious defamation. That's going the extra step.
Yeah.
To harm somebody's life.
Oh, honey, she crossed so many lines. And, I'm sure a lot of people were curious about why I didn't take it legal back then. Well, I was on the street, number one. I had no resources. I had no family, no support system whatsoever, no money. So if anybody's ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost impossible to get anything real done in the real world. So I wasn't in a position then to do what needed to be done. Now, I didn't want to have to come back and do it years later, but I'm telling you, I'm willing to meet the challenge because this has gone on long enough. I'm an innocent person. My daughter was innocent, and she caused damage to my family, real damage. And so now she's slandering me again. And the only way that I was able to back off my gang stalkers was by learning the laws surrounding slander and character assassination and libel. And basically, you cannot accuse anybody of a horrific crime such as pedophilia or any other crime without having the hard evidence on hand at the time you make the accusation to show. And that's not no text messages or screenshots. We're talking hard evidence, police reports, medical reports, doctor reports, eyewitness testimony,
not hearsay, not third party.
Exactly. So you have to have that. And if you do not have that, you need to stop, because you can be taken to civil court and sued for up to $2 million.
Yeah. Well, she's working her way there. All right.
That's what I'm talking about. Here. And I mean, I say that I didn't want to. It's not that I wanted to. I wanted to back then. I really wanted to. So,
yeah, I want to right now. I'll tell you. I mean, that I am going to start taking the legal steps right now against a few people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Recently, she posted, she has pictures of children in her phone.
Okay, so she's accusing Carman of having pictures in her phone. No evidence, right? Now, here's another thing that he's posted. A screenshot that Titus is posting along with this interview. Carman Joy yesterday, right? I don't know, you can't really tell the real date. I need to be very public about something that has recently started happening since Sarah R. Adams has started stalking me again. On 3 occasions, I found pictures of other people's children, complete strangers, downloaded onto my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I also deleted them immediately, but it would not surprise me that she and her flying monkeys would stoop to such low tactics due to the fact that she has no hard evidence to back up her bullshit, false accusations against me. And considering this all started in 2014, over a decade ago, she will have an even harder time if it's trying to get the arrested for pedophilia. But I did feel it was wise to report to anyone who will listen that this is happening, because unfortunately being completely transparent is the only way to beat those fuckers. I have nothing to do to hide. I'm certainly not worried, but I'm also no dumbass. I will protect my family from further abuse, but from this unstable, delusional person who needs obvious treatment in a facility and is a good cleansing. Okay, anyway, so let me ask you, like, what happened with the phone? There was like pictures that you didn't download on it.
Mm-hmm. I looked at my phone one day and there they were, you know, and I was like, what the hell is this, you know? And I know, maybe she didn't, I don't know. But when something like that happens, I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to be open about it, especially considering our past and our history.
Were they just pictures of kids, or were they like?
They weren't like naked kids or anything, like sexual kids. Not doing nothing like that. It was just like some kids, you know. And I'm not comfortable, so you know, I just wanted to be completely transparent when that happened.
Okay, so it's safe to say that they took this post from you out of context and are exposure.
They're good notorious for that.
Right, yeah. So basically, Titus Frost is framing this as being a piece of evidence that you have CP on your phone.
Right.
Okay. And Sarah is also using that. Okay.
How
did a post and then,
yeah.
I've never met this woman. She said, and you know what? It's Sarah who put them there. And I was like, oh my God, this woman is literally, she has pictures of children. She's connected to Steve Cambion. I don't know what.
I don't see where you said that Sarah put them there. Oh, wait. Okay, about something that has recently started happening since Sarah R. Adams has started stalking me. But you didn't say that Sarah put them there.
Not directly.
Right.
No.
Right. Okay.
What's going on? She's connected to this Meyer girl. That's a whole nother thing. I don't know what's going on. I know these people.
Meyer girl. Okay.
Oh,
we know about there, right? Right. All right. Okay. All right.
Whether they hang out, things like that. I'm like, this woman should not be allowed around anybody who has children, around any child whatsoever. She's posting that she has pictures and trying to frame me, who's never met her, as putting them in her phone. I can't even light this up.
What do you mean? And she's never met you? She's obviously communicated with you, right?
Yes, we have communicated.
Right. But I mean, like, so it doesn't really matter whether or not you met her in person.
Yeah. Well,
you've met each other online.
Yeah.
And and she is connected to James Casbolt. Yeah. She's in the same genre of media, saying that she was a super soldier too. Mm-hmm. And they had done several conferences together, right, including her ex with him, right?
Right.
Okay. So there's a little more here going than I've never met her.
Exactly. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
I was abused as a kid. I am extremely against that. And she's literally trying to say that. And I'm like, wow. And that's when I actually did call CPS on Steve Cambion, because
so here she's admitting right now on Titus Frost's show that she called Stephen Cambion's on CPS on Stephen Cambion. All right. So
because she thinks he's connected or associated or affiliated
to you. Yeah, that's her reason. That's the reason why. Yeah. Okay.
That's just where I'm like, this is really worrisome, Steve, that you are connected to a person who's posting that they have pictures of children in their phone right now, and you're silent about it.
And this is what she's using as evidence.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Terry's silent about it. Taj is silent about it.
Terry and Taj are silent about it. I didn't even see this post. To be honest with you. I had no idea that this even happened.
That's incredible.
Like, you know, like as if I don't see everybody's post on Facebook. I've been an MFA student and I've been very busy. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I can't be on Facebook and know exactly what's going on with Sarah and what Sarah is in Sarah's head.
Yeah.
Not saying anything. I have people on the internet screaming at me, Sarah, we know you didn't do this, but this person has these pictures they're saying, and they clearly have those pictures. So I called to make sure that his kids were okay, because I think that that's fair to do. Also,
according to her, this is a reason to call CPS on Stephen Cambion. Absolutely insane to me. Insane. Like, really? This is like a stretch. Okay.
I mean, there's something further.
My lawyer told me that was going through that.
Yeah.
You can see that.
It was like, oh my God.
What?
I mean, you can see that. It's just.
Yeah. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Need to call on this. This is not okay. So my whole investigation into this, I am not an investigative journalist.
Yeah, you're not an investigative journalist, Sarah. You're a grifter.
Far from it.
Right?
Will not claim that. And what I will say is that I have been researching, and I found out that this whole group, basically pedophiles, criminals, it's like the lowest of the lowest of people.
Okay, excuse me, Sarah, where's evidence that I'm a pedophile and a criminal? I have a clean background.
I can't wait to.
She has never given any evidence to any of her claims. She just sits there and says it. And Dean Fogier, oh my God!
And she keeps
you allow this. You allow this, Titus.
She keeps repeating it over and over again.
I get fired up when I start to watch it.
Yeah,
together in sort of like a wolf pack.
A wolf pack.
They attack whoever is the target. And they're trying to claim right now. They're trying to claim that Brian is a human trafficker. Brian, I really want you to bring up the story of what happened with that too.
Okay, so I'm only wanting to clip like what is going on there. I mean, Brian's saying, yeah, I spoke out. I questioned whether or not Brian saying was doing labor trafficking or human trafficking or what you would call domestic servitude, because he had people come over. And I would say what sounds like, and I played the testimony of a young man, Archie Mara, talk about how Brian gave him money, said, I want to support Star Seeds, and you can come over and live here. I just want to support you so you can do, disclosure. And, all you have to do is, plug my show, basically is what he said. And then all of a sudden Brian was coming to him saying, you need to make food for my dog and walk my dogs. And why don't you walk my dogs? And, kind of like locking them into this just domestic servitude. I didn't say he was a human trafficker. I questioned whether or not this was human trafficking or labor trafficking. There's a difference with that. Yeah. So then I also want to actually we're going to play some of Coley Weber's broadcast of Sarah. And let me find the timestamp here. There's a couple of spots in this one. She went on UFO, Coley UFO, and did the same shit, same kind of defamation about you. And we're gonna go into. Let me see. It starts about right there. Okay, so let me do a screen share here. We're gonna look at this one here. Okay, let's go. This was the first interview that she did.
These are psychopaths. We're not going on here and complaining. She's had people at her house.
Okay, so here's Coley herself calling somebody a psychopath. Right. Okay, so when I told Coley, you should let me on your show and, say my side of the story, she blew me off. And then I said, this is defamation. She says, well, I didn't say anything about you. But she's clearly going along with Sarah. and agreeing with her and not doing any investigation into Sarah's allegations, which is it's a disgrace to this community. It's a disgrace to this community, because when you're talking about UFO disclosure and something that is kind of woo anyway and doesn't show really claims, to allow someone like Sarah to come on and just say these lies about people, that's really shameful.
Yeah.
Coley.
It is.
Right? And
yes.
Yeah.
It's so irresponsible.
It's irresponsible. It shouldn't, we should point it out and say this is not okay.
No.
They have sent people. This is what they do. This is exactly what they do. And they're relentless.
They so when I spoke to Cambian's one of his co-producers, and I have a team right now working to find out everything about Cambian and all of his friends. And I have, like I said, the whole crew. Carmen Joy, she's a pedophile criminal, and we have Carissa. She's also a criminal, stole men's credit cards that she was using. I have a
okay, so now she's going on about Carissa, and Sarah's also said that I'm like best friends with. I've never met her. So we're all criminals, right? We're all pedophiles. We're all criminals.
Right.
Two orders from my lawyer. She has no money, but so her mom had to pay her to get her out of trouble because she was also asking for people to kill me. She's a criminal, and
she's agreeing. Coley's like, yes.
And Taj is a criminal. I don't care. Like, he hasn't went to jail, but we talked to the UK police. We said, and everything they said, okay.
Oh my God, look, Thomas Schoenberger. Wow. Look who is in Coley's chat supporting Sarah. By the way, Thomas Schoenberger, big time, harasser of me.
Okay.
And he also shared false allegations about, of threatening to sexually assault her. He's been participating in the harassment with Sarah Adams, and there he is in Coley's chat. They are definitely centered around Satanism.
Yeah.
Thomas is calling us a Satanist. I find that offensive because I'm a Christian.
Yeah, me too.
Like, how dare them say what my religion is and everything like that?
Exactly.
Oh my God, I'm so glad. I didn't notice this the first time when I was spotting this. I didn't realize that there was Thomas Schoenberger also defaming me on this women's show. Oh man.
From you, and even Cambian's producer, when he looked at all the evidence, he spoke to the different people. He was like, "Yeah, it's clear that this."
Let's talk about again. I want to make sure that the audience understands this. Dean Fogier, Titus Frost, is buddies with Thomas Schoenberger. All right.
Right.
They have been involved in disseminating the 17 Anon information that's in Laura Dealey's research paper. That there's a lawsuit right now. Titus Frost has spent the last 3 years harassing me online on his QAnon Sec website.
Wow.
Okay?
Incredible.
And he did that show, and now there's Thomas Schoenberger in Coley's show. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Is shady. He stole from you. He did all these things, and Taj has got a vendetta because he doesn't have access to my money for his meth, and he wanted to harm me. And so he used Cambian. He straight up said it. He used Terry Joyce and Cambian. So basically, the cops there in the UK, they said, and I could send you this too. They said, yes, this person is a criminal, but it's a civil matter because he stole money and, da-da-da. So yes, you guys have a case, but you have to file a civil case in the UK. So, and then of course it's like, Cambian, why are all your friends criminals? Why are they doing criminal things online?
Who is a criminal, Sarah?
Listen.
Who is a criminal?
Oh my God. And what is, wait. Number one, it doesn't matter who you want to be friends with in this country. You can be friends with anybody you want to fucking be friends with in this country.
Right.
She to be deciding and judging who can be friends, number one. And number two, she's just like, it's just like, it's just so ridiculous. It's
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Disclaimer,
this is what I don't want to deal with. You know, this right
It's like
here.
guilt by association, according to Sarah.
Yeah.
Online.
She makes
You
me
know, for we're scared to be Facebook friends now because you're Facebook friends with somebody. She's going to come in and like accuse you of like pedophilia with them. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's criminal, actually.
It's criminal, absolutely criminal. Oh, she's. I see a criminal conviction in Sarah's future.
Yeah.
And this lady over here, she's probably going to get sued.
She does have responsibility. She never takes any account of her own page.
But
she never admits any wrongdoing. She never admits anything negative about herself. It's always somebody else. She's always the victim. She wants to play victim, you know. And for me personally, coming through the struggles that I've had, and I know we're at time here, and I just want to say one thing before we go, is coming from the
go a little bit longer. I want to get through a couple of videos.
Well, coming through the struggles I've had, you know, having to deal with this sort of situations, this continuous over a decade here of this person in my life, accusing me of these crimes I have not committed without any hard evidence. That was the only way that I got all of my accusers to back the hell off of me. And so she's going to want to do that now. She's going to want to do that. Okay. Because it's fixing to get serious. Very serious.
Yeah. Hi, John. Yeah. No proof required. Just slander. Just slander.
Yeah.
A meth head. That's like a woman who stole. Like, you don't investigate any of your cronies because you are also doing criminal actions. You're trying to act like you're a stand-up Christian man, but you're not. You're actually a really terrible man. And I believe that heaven and hell exist because that's been my experience. And in the New Age, we could call it the upper realms or lower realms. In, you know, religion, we could call it heaven and hell. And I do believe.
Okay, so I'm going to move on from there because, you know, I don't know if do you have something playing in the background, Carmen?
No.
Okay.
I'm out here, you know, it's New York, so.
Oh, you're in New York. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, and then I want to go to 220, another spot here. It's a little bit farther down. It's 221. I might be getting some back feed. Okay.
For money. So like, it's like, yeah, when you're getting stories from people like that, your source of information, considering you're Steve Camby, an investigative journalist, it's not.
I'm
like,
just muting
it doesn't
you.
take a person with much brains to
I'm
realize.
just muting you for a little bit while this is playing, if that's okay. It's so that it doesn't go over the what's playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
Like, well, this person's jaded, doesn't like this girl because he didn't get whatever. So he's probably not going to be giving me the right information. And, you know, Tasha's got Steve in a lot of trouble because he's used Steve as his, and he's been very adamant to say it and post it publicly. Thank you for helping take down Sarah, this creature, da-da-da. It's like, okay, Steve, you don't realize that you got played. And you played right into it and you accepted it. And you also helped somebody who used you. And I think like you got to take responsibility that you allow them to use you too. And they have helped put you into this mess.
I'm a little early here. I got to go a little bit farther. It's about right here.
I cannot hang around people like that. I do not. The way I am here is the way that if anything, I'm probably just a little, but I don't keep stuff. I don't have time.
I'll tell you what, whatever you are, Chloe, I'm not impressed with it. That's just my opinion. You're not transparent. You don't have integrity in your guests. You don't fact check, and you're going to end up with a lawsuit.
I do not have time. Like, how am I going to remember a lie? Like, I got too much other stuff to go on here. Like the deception, I don't even play around. But it's like, how in the world? I don't know. It really just how they survived this long.
I got the guy that Carman was the pedo lady was sending. I can't even repeat. You probably saw some of that stuff. Like I had the personal messages between her and the dude, because the dude was a self-proclaimed pedophile and he was trying to get that little kid to him. And so he sent me their chat, and I forwarded it to the police. I forwarded it to the father. The father the same day spent $5,000. He divorced her. He got custody of the child. It went through. There was an investigation. You cannot lose your child if there is not if on just a hearsay. There has to be an investigation. So with Cambian, Cambian kept saying Sarah's called fault CPS. It started with Carman. I got her kid taken away because the messages, like today when I sent them to you, I had to go pray after, because what I saw in those messages was so bad. Well, you saw the messages from the other lady. They sent them to. I don't know if you saw those, where she was just like, she was freaking out. She was like freaking out. And she also talked to Sophie's dad, and
it was making me really upset and mad. I
was like, I had to go take a salt bath. I had to
okay, so there you are again, Coley. You're not a unbiased person on your show. You're supporting this and you're agreeing with her.
In prayer and say, okay, even just looking at this to send it to you, the evidence, it made me feel sick. I felt sick. And then she's posting recently. She has,
and they're not showing anything that she's talking about. They're all shaking heads, like she's shaking heads, agreeing with her. But where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where is the evidence?
Pictures on her phone, and I don't know Steve Cambian. He has kids. I don't know what he's doing. Wow. I know that this person has done terrible things online. So how do I know what he's doing? So of course I called CPS on a wellness check for his kids. I called for the whole circle, considered one of the other girls. She has to have a lawyer because I'm going to send you all this stuff. And again,
Sarah has no right to be judging what he does with his kids. That is an assumption that has no factual basis. And there she is again, admitting of doing what she did. It's criminal to give false reports to CPS, Sarah. This makes me so angry.
Like some very elite families. So I'm I'm saving a lot of stuff for the court case that I'm doing. Legal case I'm done. Allowing men to walk out.
I don't want to hear this.
Getting with these.
I don't want
these bumps.
And I don't care to hear it now, frankly.
What?
I said I don't want to hear anymore. I'm done with that.
Okay.
I don't watch Sarah's interviews. I have her blocked. I don't interact with her. I do feel that she does deal in black witchcraft. So at this point in the conversation, I'm going to have to say, I'm done with that part of it.
Okay, that's fine.
But Sarah caused me some real world damage, and she ganged up on me with a bunch of folks. And a lot of those folks have met with some terrible fates. But I have never sought revenge against any of my enemies. I give that to God, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Now, as far as my rights go, I will pursue what I need to do now, since she is coming out and doing this to me again. It's a nightmare for me. It almost destroyed me the first time. I did have an accidental overdose in 2017, and it was horrible, So I just have to be very careful. My mental health and my health in general is number one. So I'm just going to be protective over that. And, I did all of this 10 years ago. Okay. I already answered for all of this 10 years ago, and if she thinks I'm about to do it again, she's got another fucking thing coming. All I'm interested in is disproving the lies, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on. That's it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Carmen. I certainly didn't mean to upset you.
It's traumatic for me. It's very traumatic for me.
Well,
And I know it is for you and so many people, and she's harmed so many people. That's I mean, what is this? You know, what is this? And so I just have to pick up.
She's doing it publicly, and that, you know, and honestly, I have not. Let me put my I don't know why I have to get back. I should probably maybe get my headphones here. I just want to say this one thing. I'm going to mute you for a second while I say it. We're looping, so I'm going to go get a pair of headphones. But I feel that I haven't even been able to watch these really. And when I watched Titus's show while I was on Sewer Town, and I did commentary on it. It was very upsetting for me then, and it got me very angry. And I have not been able to even bring myself to watch Coley's stuff because of the fact that, I mean, I actually went in and got the transcripts to show these clips because I haven't even been able to watch it myself. Because it's also traumatic for me, and it's a lot of negativity and it's a lot of lies, and it needs to stop. And I totally feel the way you feel about it, and I'm sorry. I mean, I even the fact that I feel like I've caused. I didn't mean to cause any more pain for you by showing it, but because I know how awful it is to hear those kind of lies being said about you on somebody else's show like that, and to have to have these kind of accusations. It's like you've already gone through something, right, with Sarah. You already went through this back when it happened, and now you have to be brought into the conversation simply because you're associated online to me and to Stephen Cambion, and because she has a personal vendetta with you. She's looped all these people in to her conversation of pedo smearing and smearing of people's character. And it's really awful. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you right now. Go get my headphones. And so, like you can talk to the audience for a minute. Say what you want to say. All right.
I did miss something I was thinking about when I was talking about that was what was it? Well, there's a very good reason that slander and character assassination is illegal. Is because it is extremely damaging to people, innocent people, extremely. And so it's not a small thing. Civil court is not a small thing that she's going to have to deal with. You know, I mean, it just seems to me that she's just being very irresponsible. And I'm sorry, but you know, if you're going to come out here and put yourself as a public figure and put yourself on this pedestal as some truth teller, then you better fucking tell the truth, okay? Because there's going to be people out here who are going to look. They're going to check, okay? Thank God some people check. Thank God some check. So I just say there's a cautionary tale to folks. I mean, if you may not like it if somebody questions you, but it is a right thing to do, especially when you're talking about some of the things that we talk about in exopolitics. Come on. You know, so it's just responsible behavior, in my opinion. Please do your research. Please investigate me. That's what I always said. I opened myself up. I'm not a pedophile. I am a drug addict, but I'm working on it day by day, and I'm not alone. I'm in some damn good company. Last thing I want to plug Master Leaky Inc. That's what I really want to get to talking about is my turnaround this last year that I've had.
Well, let's talk about that. And also, you've sent me some things over to you. Like this, Orlando. Orlando wants to come out now and say hi, because he saw me go in there and get the headphones, and then he's like, "What?" It's and then okay. Anyway, so welcome, Orlando, and so.
Well, yeah. I mean, so, I did eventually reunite with my daughter, and it was a beautiful thing. I'm happy to report. And we are still in contact now. But we did have a house fire last Christmas 2023. I believe that's right. My timeline's rough because I've been through a lot, but I had a house fire, so ended up homeless for a second. And a friend of mine took me in up here in New York, Mr. Luke Kumo, and he's I do a life food program. He's my health coach, and it's just amazing. I've lost a lot of weight, and my health has just made a huge turnaround. So I just want to get the word out about that.
I have seen like such a I have seen such a transformation of you and I've watched your whole self change from being in this program, and I'm kind of muting us back and forth because even with my headphones we're getting a little bit of feedback. But Orlando, what's happening? Okay. But like I really have. I'm like I feel like I want to join Master League.
Yeah, it's interesting. Life food is a very interesting topic. Its creator, his name is Dr. David Jubb, a genius researcher who came up with all of this. It's just incredible. It's about life force. And eating just a truly healthy diet, stop eating all the dead foods, no processed food, no, GMO food, none of that, no meat, no dairy, no, it's very serious.
Well, I mean, maybe we could have Master Leaky come on the show, and maybe I will try everything, or try the diet. I wanted to share something. I don't know if do you have headphones, Carmen? For your phone, that will solve our problem. Okay, and while she's looking for her headphones, I want to go into the fact, because Sarah's talking about how she's being cyberbullied and everything like that. And recently, I was given this receipt. This is Sarah admitting to making a sock account of me that says, so I made an account called The Wig Terry Joyce, followed Terry, and she blocked, LOL. And this was on Instagram. But what I find interesting also is that there's this green, me painted as green with the hat on. That's something that Titus Frost did, actually. And the picture here also is Random Internet Troll. And Random Internet Troll, during one of Jesse's chats, even this year, but right here to the left is an accidental video. I was making it for my tutoring class, and I mentioned my professor's name. That this particular troll account came into my chat when I was streaming, and as well as another one called Anon. And they threatened to call my school, at which point Denise Mattel called it. So I also find it interesting that not only it is like here she is talking. This was to Taj, by the way, about how she made this account, but she's also showing this. And so in December, that account reactivated again because it would disappear and then come back, and gave the course the courses that I might have taken this last semester, and said, you're going to these classes, or you're probably enrolled in these classes. I'm going to meet you on campus. At which point I ended up doing a incident report, filed it with the police report at Fresno State. And that just happened over the summer. Now, it wasn't the Christmas break, it was summer. Now here again, there's this one says, it's not showing the whole picture, but it's like I deactivated, or they deactivated my Terry Joyce Wig account. So I guess it ended up that I reported it. So it ended up that it got deactivated. But so when you're looking at people saying about who's cyber stalking who's doing, like Sarah's actually using, this is 2024. Sarah's actually using sock puppet accounts to harass me on Instagram. I've mentioned this before on my show. And the wig stuff comes from Thomas Schoenberger. So again, there's this alignment between Thomas Schoenberger and all of this kind of defamation that's taking place on the internet as well. So I wanted to share that. And then I also would like to, hi, Carmen. All right, so I think we've got it down now. Can you speak?
Yeah.
Good.
Coming in. Hello, check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2.
It's
check
not, is like, you might want to get your microphone a little closer to you.
Like that. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so Carmen, I want to share some stuff from you. I think that might be kind of fun. Okay, so Carmen was in a band, like you were a musician and you knew some people and you were like in Rolling Stone. Was that it?
I was in the 90s after my wreck, after my accident. I had like a 2-year period there where I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to be doing with my life. When I got hurt, I was actually going to modeling school in Atlanta at Barbizon my senior year. And so, when I was a musician. And so when I got hurt, it was like, what am I going to do now? So I met a guy who was a musician and we got in a relationship, and he encouraged me to get behind a drum kit and play. And I could just pick it up and play, so it was like I had my life back. And I started a music career in Athens, Georgia, and it was one of the most beautiful times of my life. And we ended up, I did go solo after a minute. I think what you're fixing to play is one of my recordings when I was in a project with my writing partner at that time, the guy. Kashina was the name of it, but then I went solo. And when I went solo is when I went was in a part of a music collective and got in Rolling Stone magazine through the collective.
Okay, I think this picture's kind of interesting here that I want to, oh shoot, what am I doing here? There's another picture here that I think it's kind of interesting that I want to share of yours. Who's this guy here?
That's my brother.
Oh. And what was happening in this picture?
Oh, that was actually a week before I got hurt, and that was the night I got homecoming queen when I was in high school.
Oh, that's the night you got homecoming queen.
Yeah, I was on top of the world when I got hurt, man. I was like, it's like, whoa, life has tests. I really got tested in my life. Yeah.
They say that sometimes we choose those things, right? I mean, like as like our experience in our own personal growth and our soul's growth, they say, right?
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people have challenges, if you don't have one now, you might get one later. This is you playing the drums.
That's me. There I am. I used to play because I was the singer, the lead singer. So I was a singing drummer in the grunge era in Athens, Georgia. I like to say hello to all my homies still there doing it. Love you, miss you.
Yeah. There's a couple more pictures I want to share that you gave me. I wasn't able to get them all downloaded because before the show that you sent me, but I've gotten like a few of them, and it's always fun to look back, right, and see, right, and both of us were brunettes. I've noticed that. We have white. I have white hair now, but and what's going on here?
Okay, that was the music collective that I was a member of. It's called the E6 Music Collective. Back then, we were called the Elephant 6 Music and Art Collective, Now they just call themselves the E6 Recording Company, I believe. Yeah, I'm right. I'm like all the way to the right there, sitting in front of what looks like a red teepee, but that's actually my friend standing there in a big dress. we were, we were psychedelic, grunge, rock, folk, a mixture, just a loose mixture. The reason it was called E6 because there were 6 bands: Nutrimilk Hotel, Elf Power, Gerbils, and let's see, Olivia Tremor Control, and the Apples in Stereo. I believe that's all of Montreal. And then just like a loose conglomeration of artists, poets, misfits, and I was one of those solo artists.
And how long? I mean, what time period is this? Can you give me like
This was 1988, 1998 was that picture when we got that. That was one of the pictures they took that day for Rolling Stone magazine. That's not the one that made it into the magazine, but that was
okay.
one. Yeah, that was a 1998 April edition of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is on the cover.
Oh wow.
Oh,
okay.
It was a great time in my life.
You know what? 1998 was a good time for me too. And I want to show you there's another picture of you as homecoming queen here. I want to let everybody see as well. And the article here. There you are as Carman Joy Smith, runner-up, Georgia homecoming queen.
Yeah, that's my mom. We were asked they had some kind of like see, I was a pageant girl most of my life. My mom, she wanted me to go into politics, and she knew I was an artist, but that I wasn't necessarily book smart. So she knew that maybe my way to get a scholarship was through pageantry. And so this was the Georgia Homecoming Queen pageant, and it was all the homecoming queens in Georgia competing. And I got first runner up. They said I would have won it if I had a bit more confidence. But I had just had my accident like 6 months earlier. I mean, I was not, you know what I mean? I mean, I was steady, but I wasn't completely steady yet. So.
You're getting some nice comments in the chat, and I'm gonna address the chat here in a bit and just share some of the things that people have been saying during this interview with you. So, and then, okay, I love that one picture there. I've showed that in the beginning. Let me see. What am I missing here? I think I had a picture of the, I thought I had a picture of the car accident article, but I don't think I pulled that one. I have like you've shared some music with me, and I want to play one of the MP3s. I think it's kind of more like a sample of music, but just to kind of give the audience, a taste of like the kind of stuff that you did. I am, pulling up my, I'm waiting for the chat to show up here there it is. There you are. And, let me get this going here. Hold on. Okay. You gave me an MP3 here. And I want to, where did it go? Musical. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So let's listen a little bit of this. I really dug this song when so it's.
Thank you. It was fun.
It took me back to that era. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Here we go. All right. Let's play this.
That's so fun. To play long games.
Ah, that is fantastic. Okay, so when was this recorded? Like you said 1998?
It was that was recorded actually in 1993.
1993. Okay.
That was like, this is Nirvana and everything was hitting. We were right in that time.
Okay. Well, Carmen, I want to thank you for coming to the show today, and I just want to say that I'm really sorry that this is happening to you again, and that you're having to be re-traumatized by Sarah Rachel Adams defamation and lies about you. And you should be, you've been doing this great diet. You're with Master Leakey, and you should not have to be going through this when you're rebuilding, when you're coming out. You've got such a glow about you now. You shouldn't be Sarah Rachel Adams shouldn't be tearing you down like this.
That's it, and I do appreciate you having me on to let me tell my side of it. It's very important.
Get a little closer to that mic a little bit.
I just want to say that I really appreciate all of the support throughout these years from everyone who supported me during that time and since, like Willow and others, Holly, you. I mean, we've all been dealing with this person's abusive, and it's so unnecessary, but she needs to learn how to take criticism, and she needs to learn how to defend herself. If she's going to come out and tell these things and proclaim these things, she better be able to back it up, just like anybody else. I feel she's a fraud, and but I'm not interested in destroying anybody. What I'm interested mainly is my daughter having the truth, because as it is, my daughter has no one around her that's mine. I have no family. She's my only family. So I want her to have the truth out there. Of course, I have told her, and we have talked about all this that has happened, but I want it there. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm interested in doing, is just disproving the lies and moving on with my life. My health is, like I said, super important, and I have some work I want to do with my health coach. And and it's all for my daughter. It's all for her. So I want to live as long as I can, because I know that eventually we're going to be really reunited. She's going to need me, and I know that. So I'm getting ready.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, and I want to go in and address people in the chat. Also, I want to let everybody know that there are some products tagged with this video. I'm in the YouTube affiliate program. I think I have a Demon Slayer t-shirt, and there's a Christian book of inspiration, like 365 days of inspiration. And like right now, when we have something like this going on, where we're under attack by people like this, smearing our name, no weapon, as the Bible says, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Like, who's to say that this isn't a spiritual attack from people as well, and the Bible does say thou shalt not bear false witness, and that is something that a lot of people have done to me on the internet, and I would say that Sarah Rachel Adams is one of those people. And so some of the things that people have said in the chat, Allie Rogue says, well said, John, the truth will go on. He's responding to John, Aussie John, and no one will remember those disgusting people. Aussie John says the truth will survive and life will go on. And this is true. I have faith that the day of reckoning and the truth will prevail. That's how it always is. And there will also be a form of, I think there's going to be some justice in this, that, the people, especially the hosts that have perpetuated this, they're really liable right now for lawsuits. And I've had a defamation smear campaign done on me by Thomas Schellenberger and some individuals, and I've come to that point where it's like, you know what, it's time to start sending out cease and desist letters and filing those lawsuits, because there's been some real damage that's been done. And I feel like for me, they're trying to ruin my reputation so that I can't work as a journalist, that I can't have a career or a livelihood. And they've obviously tried to get me fired. And and Sarah has also reported certain individuals. I've shared screenshots of that. of people where she's called their jobs and they've lost clients simply because they were in the support group of people coming together and uniting over the trauma and the abuse that Sarah Rachel Adams has done to them. And Sarah calls it a hate group, but really it's a group of people that identify with each other because of what's happened to them pertaining to Sarah. And it's malicious. It's a disgrace. I think the things that she's done to Stephen Cambion by calling CPS and the police, it's
deplorable.
There's no excuse for that. It's somebody who's trying to they are actually harming other people, bringing on falsehoods. And these hosts, Titus and Coley, that have platformed this and continue to spread it, people that post it like Thomas Schoenberger and further putting it out there, you are participating in this defamation. And you sat there, Thomas, with your little ticker tape, your little comment, while they're talking about this woman, Carman Joy, who's not guilty of what Sarah Rachel Adams is saying. So you're taking a person, she doesn't have a YouTube channel. She's not out here talking or doing anything. She's just trying to live her life. So it's like she's a private citizen almost. Yeah, you have a YouTube page. You did Facebook post.
I'm coming out now
for Master Leaky, but you know what I mean? She's not a public personality like I am.
Right.
And that's a disgrace. Shame on you guys.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. And so I want to just show some of the other, I should have looked at some of the other comments while they were happening, but Ginger Snaps Music says, and there was no documentary by Netflix being done, no film that would him illegal drug use where documentary, it's illegal in Florida, no contracts, etc., allies for the cops. Ginger Snaps, that's a very good point about, the mushroom ritual. You're correct. Mushrooms are illegal in Florida. Vice was a show that was on Netflix for a while, but it's no longer on Netflix. So for her to say Vice and Netflix and all this kind of stuff, that was, I would say that was pretty much made up. Now, they might have been filming it for a documentary for some reason, and, there would have been, a possibility. The problem is, I don't know about for a documentary, like filming people doing drugs for using psilocybin for a documentary. I mean, now it's being decriminalized and stuff like this. But
I just remember her talking about doing a Netflix expose on everybody, on James Casbolt, on probably me, you remember that?
Get your mic, bring your mic closer.
Do you remember that when she was going around claiming she was doing a Netflix expose on James and everything, all the people she knew in the community, You remember that?
I think I do remember that. I mean, I think she said a lot of times that she was doing some sort of Netflix thing,
Yeah.
I mean,
does that shit. It's just like nobody cares. Okay.
Yeah. Mark McFarland says he's been watching those old Basis Project interviews and with her and Max, and she seems so fake. Sarah has MPD. I don't know what that is. What is MPD?
Multiple personality disorder.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I think people say that because they want to give Sarah an excuse.
I agree.
Right?
100.
And there's really no proof of that. She's just a mean, a malicious person is what I think. I'm not going to say, oh, she's got this or I think that what she's doing is malicious. What she's doing is a lie.
Right.
What she's doing is she's trying to destroy people's lives maliciously. She's not just slandering. She's not just posting things on the internet. She's literally coming into people's lives like trying to contact my college and get kicked out, or saying that that's what she's doing, or threatening, or calling CPS on people's kids and making up lies that they're pedophiles. That is just, I can't even think how disgraceful that is.
Yeah, it is.
It's horrifying. Right now, I've been literally like kind of horrified by her. Like what she's doing actually puts fear in me. It scares me.
Right. It is concerning. I will admit that. Just witnessing the level of like the kind of lies she's telling on people, knowing full well she has zero evidence, and how easy it is to disprove. That to me is just insane. It's like not even thinking. What is she thinking? You know, she's not. She's delusional as hell.
Yeah. And Coley and Titus, like you're accusing me of cyberbullying, but I just showed a receipt of her cyberbullying me, like actually using a sock puppet account to harass me. I have a receipt of her doing that. What I've done on my channel is actually report on what she's doing and reporting about what she's done that has her practices, her business practices have somebody's nearly died. She nearly died. And I don't see that talking about that and discussing it publicly that, hey, this person isn't a healer.
We can do that.
Right? I think that's completely okay in the United States underneath the First Amendment. That's not defamation.
That's right.
Guys.
Exactly.
All right. So you need to understand that right there. That's the basic thing right there. But what you're doing, Titus, to me, and what you're doing to other people, what you've done to Carman Joy, what you've done, Coley, to us, that's slander and defamation. And I say you should be really worried that there's going to be some legal action against you guys, because we're not going to put up with it anymore. Do you get it?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
Too dangerous. It's too damaging.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming into the show today. And Carman, you've been extremely courageous to come out and talk about these things. And I think you've been very honest and very transparent with my audience here and me. And I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you doing that.
Appreciate you too. Thank you very much.
All right. And we march onward, and we will face these people together, because we are not alone in what they're doing to us. And I, in a sense, I take solace in that, I've even, spoken to my mom or my friends and go, you know what, I'm not alone in this happening. This is happening to other people as well. And so on that note, I am going to say goodbye.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next time. Take care.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control. Spinning wild on the stripper pole, laughing loud all for the lows. But baby, that's not my rabbit hole.